Alrighty, and we're in with the final. We're here, Flatball Z versus Zimmer, Wilson versus Marty, and I'm joined in the open air commentary booth with by Sammy Ogden, having just finished his third place game.
Thanks, Mickey.
30 minutes ago.
Disappointing result for us, but nice to be out here commentating, going for a bit of recorded banter.
Yeah, we're recorded banter and stats.
Recorded banter and stats.
Giving.
Somewhere around. All right, so we see Zimmer starting on D and Flatball Z. I keep forgetting their name. Flatball Z coming out on O. Flatball Z have been playing a really lovely dynamic style of offense this season, primarily moving it through Wilson and Foley.
Yep.
But they've got 2 or 3 other guys who are playing really good, strong supporting roles in Scott McKenzie, John Brill, and David Sanderson. So I expect to see those 5 guys getting a lot of the disc, with the rest of the team being threats deep and trying to distribute it back to them.
Definitely, and we've seen a lot of lateral movement from this Flatball Z team, and they've got a lot of really hard runners, people who really want to get the disc, and they're going to keep cutting to try and get that Frisbee.
Yep.
And on the other side, we've got a Zimmer. Tal Smith's up with the pull. A bit off and on this Zimmer team. They usually work through a defensive switching strategy. Sometimes it doesn't work out, sometimes it does, but it'll be interesting to see what they're looking to do here. I hear that Marty's hoping the wind picks up to make life a little bit harder.
Flatball Z already moving the disc fairly comfortably with the unders. Not getting a lot of field position, but looking pretty happy with the disc. John Brill there looking pretty poached. Sneaks that one through. Great read from T.
We've got back to Brill on this far sideline, which is really where you want the disc. When the wind does pick up, that's sort of the sideline you want to be shooting deep for. Back to Sando into the middle of there.
Yeah, and they're looking really comfortable just moving the disc around. I say that as Sando puts one up. John Brill basically unmarked in the end zone.
But, not sure what happened with Hurdy there, sort of trailing a couple of meters away.
Well, I think, so I was training to Johnny, to Warren White in between games last week, and he was saying their team's effectively doing exactly what he thought they'd do, which is start the season really strong because they've got a lot of old boys who are consistent and know how to do. And as national season ramps up and all the young guys get fit, we're going to start seeing them trail off. And I think that's what you saw just there, was Hurdy just a bit gassed, getting pushed past by the young Brill.
Yeah, just hasn't got those legs early in the game.
It's all right, happens to the best of us.
Yeah, so I hear. I wouldn't know personally, but no.
Give it time, Mickey.
I'd say maybe 5 to 10 years. My metabolism slows down and all the junk food that I eat really picks up.
Mickey here having a lovely meal of loaded fries.
Yeah, fried royale, Nordburger in Chinatown.
Nice.
I was a bit afraid they weren't going to get here, but we had a bit of a delayed starting game, so good for me.
Got to smash them down.
Not so good about everyone else.
If anyone from interstate's listening and is coming over for nationals, Nordburger does great burgers in Chinatown.
Oh, I thought you were going to say I'd be easily bribed by food, which is definitely
also
true.
Also Mickey will throw games for loaded fries.
And we've got Foley coming down with the pull, Marty fielding it, and we got Rhodes shooting deep. But there's been
a miscommunication.
Yeah, big miscue. But Burns could be able to get that. Or definitely some really hard running there from Burns. I wasn't sure he was really going to go after it, but I reckon he was a lot closer to that than I thought he'd be.
Yeah, absolutely. Mitch is one of those players who hasn't been playing for long, but he's been really putting the effort in recently and has developed a lot, both in game sense and athleticism.
Got Wilson here on the far sideline, looking for Brillo in the dump.
Zimmer doing a pretty good job of locking the disc down into that underspace.
Here got Wilson going deep. Foley's drawn back on the huck.
Johnny giving up meters on the stall, but shots that huck down beautifully.
Cheeky scuba. Wilson takes it with one hand. Would have been embarrassing if he dropped that, but lucky he didn't. And we've got Davies here. Back to Wilson for the dump. Foley up the line. Good attack on that disc there. Got a lot of deep cuts coming off the back from Flatball Z, but they're just coming right off the back of the end zone. Oh, and a bit of a throwaway there from Foley.
It didn't look like a throwaway. It looked like John Brill just kind of...
Bit too much lead on it, maybe?
Didn't quite know how to catch it, and so missed it with his first hand, then went for a bid and just put it down. I don't think I'd blame Foley for that one.
Yeah,
I mean, the stats will say it was a throwaway, but...
oh, no, Brill touched it. That's a drop.
Yeah, that's right. Roden looking for the around, gets it, but they're immediately stifled. Johnny with the around break. He's such a great player with that backhand.
Definitely. You definitely want to be forcing Johnny the flick, but he'll find a way to get around you, in my experience.
Yeah, you can force him flick and he'll still try and throw it backhand. You see it on the replay here. Just Foley maybe steps across a bit too far and just gives up that space.
Yeah, kind of bites on that dump a little bit.
Yeah. Gone for the glory. He wanted the hand block.
Here for the hand block. And we're one apiece, on par. The sun's gone down, as has the wind. We'll see if it's consistently disappears, but every time I've said that in the previous game, I'd cooked it, so apologies in advance again.
I mean, I kind of hope it doesn't. Both teams have, Flatball Z less so, but both teams have guys that want to be big throwers. On Zimmer, you've got Tallis and Roden, who both love to unleash. Marty will look for it, Johnny will look for it. And similarly on Flatball Z, you've got Foley, probably primarily Foley and Wilson. They're a little more controlled. They seem to be missing their loose cannon Scott Schwartz tonight.
We've got a Sando who's pretty willing to send it if the opportunity presents.
Yeah, I mean, you saw a lovely fat side flick from him in that first point to Brill.
Yeah, definitely. That was really nice. I think Marty's got that, as Sean Davis would call it, the devil lefty child, but instead of Keith Chow this week, they've got a Tom Roden. Just add a bit of extra confusion with the lefty on your team. I'm a big fan.
Nice pull from Tallis, just Sando not fielding it quite cleanly.
Very casually.
Oh.
And a miscommunication. Johnny runs through. He's going to... Roden, bit of a slip over there. Oh. And the lefty hammer, a classic. Got Marty underneath it. He's a big man. This is classic Marty space there.
And Foley and John Brill just were in the right area, but didn't seem to want to contest Marty for that.
I think it's hard going up against quite a broad figure.
Girthy is what I've been calling him recently. I'm trying to get him to slim down for natties.
Yeah, all right. So that's really where Marty sort of takes his space, just like right up above. There's not really a lot of, there's not really many players, I would say, who can contest that space.
No, and again, looking at the replay, he was under that a good 4 seconds early,
yeah,
and takes 2 steps forward and just claims it. It's a great read from him.
Definitely. We'll see if Flatball Z can sort of get those cues back together. We saw this in a game a couple of weeks ago where they just had a few miscommunications at the beginning and sort of had a few throwaways, and then they really dialed themselves into gear and picked up the pace. So I wonder if that's potentially what's happening again, but nothing too dire about it yet, just one break.
A strange one of that. You don't normally see those sort of miscues from a player as experienced as Sando.
No.
I'm not quite sure what happened there, but I'm pretty sure Warren White will be pretty stoked with that. He'll be happy
Definitely.
to take the D. He's not one to look a gift D in the mouth.
You could only reward him with a goal, really. And Tallis with the pull again. So kind of bladey, kind of flat, definitely catchable. Scary's underneath it.
Bit of a nothing pull. Like it looked good out of the hand, but kind of didn't really have a lot of hang time. But Zimmer doing some great lockdown D here.
Definitely done that power dump, probably thrown about 10 meters back.
It's not helped that it doesn't look like Flatball Z's cutters are really presenting helpful options.
So we've got Marty poaching out in this underspace as well, which makes life a little harder for the open lane.
Scary lets loose. Wilson is all over that. That's an unreal put by Scary.
He's just on the end zone line. Cool, calm and collected is what they want here. Dumped it back to Foley.
He's just looking to stand and deliver on the body offense.
Goes back to Sam Davey for the goal. That's really nice. Bit of confusion at the beginning there, I think, having to go backwards, but it's always good to go backwards and maintain possession.
Yep.
In my humble opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're putting themselves under more stress than they need to. I mean, credit to Zimmer. They're taking away the unders and forcing them to look either backwards or deep. And I think Scary's huck there was a result of that. Foley was poached free under near him, and Scary looked him off to punt it. In the end, it was the right option. Wilson was free, and it was a lovely shot.
Definitely, and this isn't the first time we've seen that sort of defense from Zimmer with sort of it's Traditionally, Marty's sitting in that open lane and he's really clogging up the space. It means the handler coming up the line has got an extra person to contend with, and anybody coming down into the open lane, you really have to look to sort of split Marty and their own defense, and then generally Johnny's poaching off into the deep space when it's necessary.
Yeah, and like as we said before, Marty's a large lad, so he takes up a lot of space in that lane.
I hear he's quite girthy.
Quite girthy. And I like, both him and Johnny are smart players, so
Definitely.
while they might not be as athletic as some of the guys coming at them, they tend to get in the right position and push them away from where they want to go.
Certainly. We've got Foley here with the pull. It's a nice floaty to the chesty one. Mine's going to let it drop though.
Good positioning. Tim Stevens coming down hard.
Big on the pull chase. And there's a pick call. Tasman Mitchell free. Wondering if it affected.
So Tasman Mitchell here, he's an interesting player for Zimmer. He hasn't had a lot of the disc, and he's got one of the worst throwing percentages in the team. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. Like, he's generally been consistent, but he just has a handful too many throwaways. So we'll see. I mean, he should be fine. It's a low pressure position.
True.
So
One of the things I've commended Tasman Mitchell on. Speaking of throwaway.
And I've called it. There you go. Just went a little too much with it.
Commentator's curse. One of the things I have commended Tasman Mitchell on is his chase on the pull. It's probably up there with the best I've ever seen. He's down there for almost every single pass. Oh, Marty with a hand block.
Tim Stevens is maybe a bit casual with the throw there.
Yeah.
And Girthy Marty.
Girthy Marty gets a hand out there. Got Hurdy's call, use the legs for Zimmer.
It's a classic old man.
There's some old legs there, but I'm sure they'll get it going. Marty coming around the break side.
Mitch, lovely undercut. Oh, great poach from Foley, just plugging the play up there. Managed to get back to his player. And here we go, Taz again. Puts it up. Let's see.
Got
Jay
Jay
in
underneath
position.
it. Oh, bit of a misread. Almost a drop there from Perrin, but he's recovered it.
Yeah, it was a great read by Perrin. Jay did great to get in front and maybe just carried himself a little too far there. And here we go, we can see on the replay.
See back there with that great poach from Foley in the lane.
Yeah, Jay's in position, just runs himself under.
Yeah. Should have just sat the body and maintained front position.
Yep, sometimes it's better just to play the player.
But yeah, better just to play where don't really have to attack it if you know it's coming to you.
Exactly.
So, in my, fine old age of 24, I'm a big fan of being lazy.
In your humble opinion.
In my humble opinion of my very experienced age in life.
There is something to be said for if you feel like your other players got position and they're going to take it at the top, going up early, trying to push them up early and get in their space and just trying to beat them. But yeah, sometimes you have to do it right, otherwise you just look a bit silly.
It's true, and you've got to, due credit to Jay there, you've got to make those mistakes to learn from them.
He's young, he'll come back from it.
It's very youthful. We've got this will be a prime opportunity, or I potentially just shot myself in the foot because I think Tasman Mitchell's come off. I was going to commend him for his pull chase, and I was trying to do you a favour, Tasman, but you can listen to this back later and you've really, run me over there. Smits with the pull.
That's a much nicer pull from Smits. Deep, penetrating. Could have used a little more hang time, but at least put them in an awkward position and gave the D time to get down there. Foley's looking for Brill in the short space.
Oh, Brill's taking it high. That's really nice. Oh, low release. It's going to be Blady.
Wonky
Good attack there. You got Wilson running out in front. Oh, he's lost the hat. Speed demon that he is. He's down the line.
Wilson has been playing unbelievably this season. He's really come into his own this last season. His speed and his aggression, his gameplay. I would argue he's probably the best player in the league at the moment.
What do the stats say about that, Sammy?
I don't know if the stats back me up on that one, but I think Sean Davis is probably a bit more of a stats fiend.
Yep, that's probably true. That's
right.
all right.
If you give me a second, I'll pull his stats up. We can
that's
see.
Okay. We can talk about Wilson in between.
Yeah, Wilson's looking at 30 assists.
Oh, that's nice.
And 17 goals, so he's definitely up there.
Couple more now.
9 Ds. So yeah, he's getting a bunch of Ds, a bunch of disc. He's had 117 completions, 118 completions. Oh, sorry, 176 completions. I was reading the average, which made sense.
Yep.
So 176 completions, which is the third highest on their team. But he actually doesn't have the third highest throwaways. So he's playing conservative, he's playing controlled, and he's just, as you saw there, like just really being able to put the speed on.
Yeah, definitely. Rumour has it, and by rumour I mean I'm pretty sure he mentioned this to me a couple of times. He's really looking to sort of make his presence on the O-line a bit more prevalent.
Nice.
In future seasons. And
it's a shame he's going to be on the D-line.
Just a shame. He's running down on that pull hard though. Stop that first pass. He's just got to start being worse at defense to get on the O-line. That's how it works.
I mean, you just need to get fat, is my experience.
I'm on the O-line.
Exactly, that's my point.
Ooh.
It's all those loaded fries.
It's all those fries, it's just like those 8 minutes of Tabata mean nothing. And just back in with Rhodes. Oh, two devil lefty charts with Keith and Roden on the field. This is probably just a terrible time for Flatball Z.
And Keith Chow just distributing the disc really nicely there.
And Johnny throwing a Tasman. Oh, a huge bid. I almost thought Johnny had thrown to nobody there, but Tasman really coming off the back of the stack.
Tasman made it look like an option.
Definitely. Good work, Tasman.
way to back Mickey up on the
Way
running.
to back me there.
Zimmer sitting real deep, not Zimmer, sorry, Flatball Z sitting real deep, just kind of in no man's space. The handlers, Foley and
Got Brill coming off
Scary,
the back.
happy to move it around between themselves though.
This is pretty much what we've seen from Flatball Z. They're pretty happy to just sort of like move it around until they get the opportunity, like this one, to just dish it off, shoot for the goal. Nice, cruisy, easy.
And as we were saying before there, there was 3 or 4 guys doing a lot of the disc, but then Zimmer just got burnt by speed. You saw, I think it was Sam Davies just tearing deep for that lovely shot from Wilson, and then Rob having run from the handler space in a bucket of space by the time he got down there.
Yeah, definitely. And this is, I wonder if this is potentially where we'll see those miscommunications that were happening with Flatball Z earlier on. Those sort of, they're going to clean up, and we really see Flatball Z take command of this game. But I'm not willing to talk Zimmer out of it quite yet.
No.
Just there's a lot of experience on that team, and we'll see how he goes. It's definitely still anyone's game.
I mean, at 3-3, you'd hope we'd saying that.
Oh, certainly.
I'm definitely not ready to write it off just yet.
Still pretty light with this wind as well, so it's definitely making things very manageable.
I feel like it must be slightly heavier than we're feeling here in the open air booth. There's been a few throws upwind that just, from throwers like Johnny, who normally are pretty good at his backhand, just not quite executing. So
it's true.
They're either overthinking it or it's a little tougher than we think it is.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, that shot from Johnny was just going upwind, so it could have just had a little bit more zoom on it than necessary.
There we go, a lofted pull from Foley. It's short, but got hang time.
And Flatball Z are underneath that.
Yeah, exactly. So it just puts players on. Foley giving it out to Johnny.
Mitch off the back.
It's a great put from Johnny. Can he keep Sam out of the space?
It's gonna.
He cannot.
So this is what we're just seeing there, is that disc at the very last minute it started fading out, which means where Mitch had the advantage before, just shooting it out in front, it gave Sam Davies just that extra bit of space to sort of have a bit on that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, out of the hand, it looked like Mitch had the great line. It looked like it was sitting outside in and just going to float onto Mitch. But, yeah, just drifted out to give Sam that inside line.
Definitely. And a good run by both. That was that's a really nice matchup. I'm keen for more of that.
It's what the punters want.
Got Wilson coming off the back. Classic outbreak move, I hear.
Stop telling the world our secrets.
I think people know them. Oh, bit of an overthrow there. Dishes to Marty to Johnny. Got Smits back at the dump. Oh, good save there.
And
I think Brill's calling the disc down.
I mean, it certainly was close.
Let's get the replay. Yeah. Thank you, Rex.
Oh!
And we're going to play on anyway, that's all right.
Andy Baddock's piping in for the sideline with the definitive call.
Sometimes you just don't need the film.
Oh, some great D from Zimmer. And Roden's put up to the big man space.
Oh!
Which is the place to put it, apparently.
It is the place to put it. Send it into Marty, I'd say. Can't go wrong with that one. Tried and true.
I mean, we were commenting before that Zimmer have a lot of speed. And I don't think, Flatball Z have a lot of speed. I don't think Zimmer have the pace to match them. But
Definitely.
the corollary of that is Zimmer have a couple of guys who you just, if they're under the disc, you're just not going to get it from them. So
yeah, I think, yeah, it had, like, Stevens is a good matchup for Mazar there, but like we said, going up strong, really going up with those two hands.
I mean, they say you can't teach height, you also can't teach girth.
No, you cannot. I'd say, I mean, you could train girth.
Oh, you can absolutely train girth.
You could work to girth.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I hear Loaded Fries do it really well.
I hear Loaded Fries were a big success. I'm pretty sure Marty was eating wok in a box before, so if you're looking for a bit of extra girth, wok in a box.
Yeah, there's nothing quite like a big box full of carby noodles.
I think it was rice, but same.
Same. They're just short noodles.
Yeah, smaller noodles.
Yeah, just tiny noodles.
Oh, yes, Tasman Mitchell is on. And I'm going to be able to pipe up about this pool chase. Got a Warren White with the pool. This will be a nice, beautiful backhand. Also, I would expect.
I mean, history would tell us that, but...
Sometimes history does not repeat itself.
But in this case, it does.
But in this case, here we are. Tasman Mitchell down on the pool. What a man.
What a man. The man, the myth, the legend.
And he stopped that first pass.
Yeah, absolutely. Closed it down, stifled the Flatball Z offense. Sando here. Foley being poached on, which is a strange combination. Not the player I would have just allowed to wander around.
I think, I don't think he was being poached on. I think he went up the line and parents stopped looking at him and he just sort of dropped back down into that handler space.
Ah. The classic 5 yards up, 2 yards back.
Oh, hammer to Foley. Is he going to get there? Oh.
Great bid by Foley.
I think potentially a bit of an unnecessary throw there from Whiten. Had Wilson free in the open lane. But, hey, we're here for spectacular plays.
Exactly. I mean,
and that was one.
The crowd liked that. The crowd was a big fan of that one.
Yeah, I like that one.
The safe under option for a 5 metre gainer is boring.
Exactly.
So, why not give the punters what they want and let loose on the hammer?
Clinical offense, in my experience, does not get the whoops.
It's for nerds.
It is for nerds.
It's absolutely for nerds.
Yeah. Got to have that specky play.
The leading hammer.
Yeah, got a good crowd out tonight as well. So that's really what you're playing for. You're playing for the crowd.
Exactly. John Brill with Perrin going deep, shutting down some space. Again, Zimmer doing Flatball Z doing a real good job of shutting Zimmer down in that early first few cuts.
Definitely. I think both of these teams are quite defensively minded. Those first couple of stalls are really they've got the pressure on and they're really making any throw challenging. As proven here by the fact that we just had a 30-centimetre dump pass. I think Flatball Z have a no around force on here. We've got Warren White moving up to Mitchell, and we've got Marty streaking down the field, a classic Mazar antic. Probably gets his top speed maybe 50 metres in, but it's pretty decent top speed. And a miscommunication there from Roden to Warren White. Good defence from Flatball Z.
It was great defence from Flatball Z. Again, Zimmer, not doing themselves a lot of favours, a lot of them being very deep and giving the Flatball Z guys time to set up. But by the same token, Flatball Z punishing that.
Certainly. Got Brill very, very free, and there's a pick call. I think Foley's are you 3 metres, Marty? Not sure you were?
If there's one thing I've learned, that Foley, if you really want to know Foley, a good pick call or travel call him just really gets his goat. And we've got a reenactment on field, so you can see Foley's blood's up now.
That's when you know somebody's serious.
Exactly.
And Marty, you have a bit of a catch up after a small debate, but Foley's still going to be pretty free.
Brill just cursed with too many options for a bit there.
True. Sometimes you see with this Flatball Z team, they do tend to crowd the space in the handler space, but too easy. Not too easy. There's a pick call. Potentially did not affect.
No, not a pick call. I think it's they're calling it out. Maybe they think Scary didn't have control of the disc.
Ooh, that is a bit tight.
His back foot was in by about 1.5 meters, but it's whether he actually caught it. It's hard to say.
Oh, we've got some influence from the sideline saying back foot was down when he caught it.
Oh, they're saying he wasn't in for a goal.
Right. Cool, calm and collected. Fat side flick. Rob White and Fraser Bird.
Love it.
Too easy.
Too easy. It's
5-4.
5-4. And credit to Wilson is what you just saw there is pretty much everyone on this team. There's a couple of guys who are weaker throwers, but almost everyone in this team is willing to take shots like that. Like, they've all got that shot in their bag. So you can't discount people drifting to the break side as not an option, because they are. They clearly are.
I'm a big fan of the break side. And if anybody knows anything about Scary, honestly, he will always look for a fat side throw. I haven't seen him do it too much yet, but when he gets the disc on a leading passer and up the line, he'll traditionally look to fake that fat side throw or to even throw it. So yeah, that space is definitely always an option.
I mean, I disagree and say that's maybe not the first thing anyone knows about Scary.
Oh,
the big hair is probably the key factor, but the second one, the close second, is that he's looking for the fat side throw.
He is, yeah, close second there. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, the hair has gotten smaller since I last saw Scary. I think probably 2 years ago. I reckon it's had a bit of a trim.
Someone took the hedge trimmers to it.
I hear he's looking to become the fastest man in Ultimate again, and potentially the hair offers up a bit of wind resistance.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's probably got the makings of a good man bun there.
Yeah.
I could see him getting his man bun on.
Foley with the pull. Mazard field. Up to Roden in the middle. And again, this defense making life really hard.
Comfortably getting it off to Mazard, though.
This wind's picked up just a little bit. Nothing too hectic. Shouldn't be affecting anyone.
The combination of the defense and the offense just stifling Zimmer's offense. They seem to be getting dump throws off and then not much else.
But just got a good 20-meter gainer. Backhand to Johnny.
Straight to Perrin again. And that Perrin-J combination seems to be doing trouble for Flatball Z.
I think, again, we just saw, if we look at the replay here, it's Jay sort of just run himself under the disc again.
Yep.
I reckon if you're Jay, you just want to be... Perrin's got a pretty good read, I'd say, from statistically what we've seen in the last two goals. You kind of just want to be playing the man.
Yeah, I think I would just try and get up close to him, get some hands in the way. Hopefully put some pressure on it.
Or go with the what I like to refer to as the classic Ash Thompson defense, and you just play the player face mark and wave your arms all over the place, hope for the best. And I think she's probably got most of her Ds that way, so there is something to be said about it. Got Smiths looking to pull the disc for Zimmer here. We're at 5s. It's a tight game. What you want to see for a final?
Yeah, that's it. And you're seeing... it's hard to say, I haven't really been paying attention, but it looks like this is the first time you've seen any of the top few players that either team come off, with Foley sitting on the sideline at this point. Zimmer haven't really lost any of the Roden, Warren White, Tonkin guys. Talis has come off a bit, but those three have kind of stayed on, whereas Flatball Z seem happy for Foley to have a rest and run through the rest of the team. Speaking of a bit more trust in their team, maybe, Mick?
Yeah, potentially. I think I know Wilson just picked people that he loved to play with and he trusted, so that could potentially be a side effect of that. As seen by the fact that we have Sando going at a very high position, I think, controversially.
Oh.
Good pickup from Marnie. Nice poach off as well on that front of stack. And we've got a disc back with Smits, and he's looking to go all the way up the line.
Oh, and Smits
he's
with
just out like that footwork, impeccable. And a bit of a miss throw there from Roden.
Just a miscue between him and Johnny. I think Roden wanting Johnny to cut for that. Johnny not knowing if he ought or not. Oh!
And that is a big boy experience play there from JWW. On the tips, just goes up high, catches it early, and just nicks it right over White's head. That's nice.
So a way to get it back by Warren White there, and that is just pure lank.
That's a lot of lank, yeah.
It is a lot of lank.
That's the lank that I aspire to, really.
It's good lank to aspire to.
It's good lank.
I mean, I have it on good authority that Johnny's made of broomsticks and rubber bands.
I believe it.
Um,
In the stack, perhaps? I think so. Doesn't affect that throw. We'll stay with Smiths. Looking back for the dump for Marty, and Brill really on that.
John Brill's another player who has really come... Oh, great pick up by Smits there.
Very nice.
Brill, really another player who's come into his own.
And Hurdy taking front position there, but potentially just maybe bladed over or a bit of a misread. Hard to tell.
I think actually we saw Sam doing what we were saying, is he just got in behind Hurdy and just kept him under.
Yep.
Trusted that he had the read and that he knew where his player was going.
And Sam Davey going deep for the bookends. Good man.
Lovely shot from Tran
Wilson
there.
Tran there, yeah.
Tran. He's had a couple of those. He really seems to prefer that outside in flick huck. I haven't seen him throw many backhands, but the outside in flick huck.
No, big fan of the backhand around, I believe.
I mean, who isn't though?
Elsa Entinghawk, not a fan, is not a fan. She's getting to be a bigger fan, but she's afraid of throwing the disc away. But here's a fun fact for you people. Statistically speaking, you're more likely to be fouled or than you are to be hand blocked on a backhand around.
Where are you getting these stats from, Nick? Is that an actual stat, or is this
No, it's a stat that we sort of like tested at WUC a couple of years ago, and because Elsa had this fear of throwing backhand around, and obviously Elsa spends a lot of her time in the handler space, and so it was traditionally to a dump. So yeah, unless somebody's got a really big reach, say like your Greg Schrader's, you're more likely to have the hand hit before you release the disc. And
story checks out.
Yeah, and most of the time, when there was I think it was maybe Elsa had maybe one throwaway on the backhand around that was clean, and I think there was like maybe 4 or 5 more that were fouls and came back.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's not worldwide tested, but it's WUC tested from a team that came 29th.
Yeah, nice. That is where the scientific rigor is really coming into this.
Yeah, it was a real focus area for Vanguard.
I mean, I feel like winning games should have been more of a focus area, but you
hey,
know.
fitty, baby. Oh, big clash on the run down there from Whiten and Roden. Bit of a dance almost.
I think Roden had just been talking smack about Whiten, and Whiten just needed to give it back to him. So Roden probably got what he deserved there.
I guess we'll just have to ask at halftime. And Roden gets the disc. Wilson on the mark. And you got Smith shooting early. Tim Stevens. Oh, Tasman Mitchell goes up big. Looking for the easy dump off.
Finds Perrin.
Finds Perrin screaming up the line.
Tell you what, Perrin's having a cracker of a game in the red zone.
Certainly. Is this, what, 3 goals now?
Yeah, 3. I haven't seen him do a lot in the midfield, but geez, he's ready to catch goals.
Hey, look, it's the goals you remember. And I think we just had a timeout call, so we'll take a little drink break along with the players, and we'll be right back.
Here we go. Let's go. Flatball! Let's go, boys! No, wasn't listening. One, two.
Alrighty, and we're back after the timeout, and we've just heard a bit of halftime message from Flatball Z. Is more of the same, rinse and repeat. Didn't hear anything from Zimmer. Didn't walk over there.
I was too busy trying to get some pizza.
Yeah, look, priorities. I'm sure Zimmer's will probably also be much of the same. Like, we're sitting here at sixes. You just want to make sure you're doing the right things good and the bad things less of. But I haven't seen much bad things.
No, I mean, really, the defense in this game's dominated it so far, I think. Both teams playing that real nice shutdown D, shutting down the unders, forcing the other team to move it around their dump space a bit. Which I think it's just going to be a matter of who can hold that the longest.
Certainly, who can just that patient dump and recycle and then sort of shoot it downfield when the opportunity presents itself. And Smith's with the pull, coming down. Sando picking up. Bit of veteran experience on the disc. Oh, devil lefty child Keith gets a D off the dump.
Oh, classic Miley.
Bit of a story there.
He tends to get in contests and end up like taking someone out.
Yeah,
and
right.
It's not intentional. He doesn't play, I would say, super physical. He's a scrapper and he puts himself in contests and comes off better off.
Yeah, right on.
So his nickname is Marley.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah, he loves a bit of wrecking ball action. Just further explaining the joke there.
You can never over-explain a joke, I hear. Got Warren White up the line.
And Zimmer their stack's looking really static. They're getting all their upfield movement from upline cuts. And so they're just... Tyler Smith zipping that one out of the field.
Oh no, Tyler Smith says what everyone's thinking. Which was unlucky because you had Rob had recognised that he had caught himself in a bad space. You can sort of see him airy faring around in the open lane, and Warren White's gone off deep, and Smith has just shot it right out the side.
Yeah, just a bunch more edge would have got that through.
Definitely would have been a free throw.
Wilson casually just catching that disc. Looked real comfortable with the distance he had on Talis there.
There's a big call in the stack. Don't think it affected that throw. We'll probably stay with Foley. Good Foley up the line. And we're back with the experienced Sando. Up to Scary. And Scary shot deep for Foley, and there's really nobody there. He's just going to have to do the fancy feet, make sure he doesn't step out, and he's done it. That's a goal. Very nice.
Is.
Rinse and repeat. It works.
Yeah, and as frustrating as it is from what traditional good Frisbee is, don't hug down the same third, we're seeing that forehand outside in shot down the same third work repeatedly for Flatball
Definitely.
Z.
Yeah, that forehand down that far sideline is really what Flatball Z are looking for. You got to be a bit disappointed if you're Zimmer though. Like they got that turn and just a bit of a throwing error, which for what would have almost 100% been a goal otherwise.
Absolutely. But I think that throwing error was generated. Their stack was static. Flatball Z was putting a lot of pressure on their undercuts. And I think there was just some frustration. And so T was frustrated, wanted to shoot his shot.
Yeah, I think we've seen that in the past as well. When Smith shoots early, it looks really good and it comes out really nice. But when you get to that high still count, he's sort of have those oh no moments, if you will.
And I believe No, that's still on serve, sorry.
Still on serve. Foley with the pull.
And that looks like it's going to brick.
That's no good. I hear Sean Davis doesn't like it when pulls go out. It's probably one of his biggest pet peeves.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, when he's on defense or when he's on offense?
I think, yeah, when he's on defense, with his team's playing D and his teammate pulls the disc out. I think he finds it frustrating at any time, but predominantly if he's running it down on defense.
Right. When he feels the need to give his team a strong talking to?
Yeah. I think it's because he really, he's a strong believer in a good pull chase, puts the pressure on early. That's really what you want. So a bricked pull doesn't really help you with that. And we see Zimmer on this same sideline that Flatball Z have been shooting down. And Smits gets it off to Burns up the line. And they're really just cramming it in the cram hole. And they've got it off back to the middle here. Up to Rhodes, lefty, he's shot fat side, and there's not really anyone there. Tim Stevens is going to be there. Nah, Tasman Mitchell's there first.
Tasman Mitchell getting up high tonight. He's sometimes inconsistent in the air, but tonight he's been really getting up at the top of his height.
For sure. Maybe he's heard your bit of stats talk and he's trying to up his game.
Yeah, like, look, I may have done him a dirty in...
You've commentated cursed him the other way.
Look, I'm okay. He's taken a couple of lovely grabs. Makes some great footage. Seems to be what the punters want.
Certainly. And also that fat side throw from Rhodes is sort of the direction you want to be throwing in. The wind is really not all that present, but it does run from the far side into where the camera is. So if you want to throw a huck, that's sort of the way you want to throw it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Particularly if this wind picks up, which who knows?
And I mean, Roden not being one of the main disc movers for Zimmer, but definitely getting his fair share of the disc. Sort of him, Sam Kayon, who isn't here tonight, Johnny and Marty have been the four guys that have been getting the vast majority of the disc. So it's not surprising to see him putting those shots up.
Definitely not. Also, lefty-handers, few and far between.
Geez, you're really pushing this lefty game tonight, aren't you, mate?
I'm always pushing it. I'm consistent. Smits with the pull.
That's a lovely pull from Smits. It's going to be penetrate. Looks like it's going to hover a bit.
Perrin down there for that first pass.
Perrin and Roden getting down there. Sando moving it to the break side to Foley, who shoots. Johnny that's a lovely box out by Rob, just holding Warren White off a little deep. And that was real nice.
That was real nice.
And that's half.
Yeah, got to give some props to Johnny for going up early there, but that's a nice way to close out the half. It's been high intensity. I'm sure we'll see some more of it in, I don't know, whenever the second half starts in a few minutes.
Yeah, and just looking at that replay, Rob did a great job of slowing down, forcing Johnny to have to go up, and then just relying on that Johnny would go up early.
Definitely.
But yep, half 8-7 to Flatball Z.
We'll see you in a bit. And we're back after potentially the briskest halftime in Ultimate history. Flatball Z and Zimmer, and we've got Flatball Z up. They've taken half, and Zimmer, look, we're definitely not out of this game. Still time for a turnaround, ample time, one would say. Yeah, 7-8. What are you thinking of the game so far, Sammy?
It's all right. No,
just all right.
Just all right. No, I mean it's actually a really good game to watch. There's been some specky stuff, but also from a fundamentals point of view, both teams are moving it really well into their dump space, looking to reset and reshift the point of attack. I think both teams could maybe look at the swing and the break a little earlier and a little faster.
Yep.
But they're looking for it. They're doing it. The defense is great on both teams. Just listening into the Zimmer halftime talk, they're saying keep the help talk up. Tonkin putting a big shot up to Roden. Can he get there?
Yeah,
Easy.
he can.
Easy. Zimmer talking at half, going basically, this is it. Keep the intensity up. Keep lifting that last little bit. Defense, they're stifling it. Look for the help off the back of the stack, which I think if they can do that more consistently, it'll help shut down those long shots to the faster guys, just by having bodies in the space.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of long shots, off to the slightly faster guys. Mazada Rhodes off the pull.
Jeez.
Too easy.
Jeez, Roden's going to be stoked to hear that he's one of the slightly faster guys.
I think he's one of the slightly faster guys on Zimmer.
That's probably fair. I think I would be one of the slightly faster guys at Zimmer were I to play. So, you know.
Look, I could potentially be one of the fastest guys on Zimmer, if not the fastest guy on Zimmer if I played.
Look, I mean, I would... Geez, you'd definitely be in the mix for the fastest guy on Zimmer.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, looking at that team, it's not the fastest. I mean, maybe Taz.
Actually, yeah,
Mitchell.
to be fair,
Mitchell's
Tasman
a little
Mitchell,
good.
quite a zoomy dude.
But,
I reckon I'd like to think I'd have him on leg length.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'd back you in the air over Taz. Although tonight, like I said, he's been playing...
Yeah, look, I'm not sure I want to take that battle up tonight, but I also just have this terrible habit of not taking front space, which if Mitchell continues to get up as high as he has been, not taking front space is going to be a big regret for me.
Well, I look forward to the Battle of the Titans, Mitchell Dumnall.
Yep, Super League 2021.
It's what the punters want.
Check it out.
Warren White with that, just a pull that didn't look like it was doing much out of the hand. It's basically just straight out there. Straight out for the brick. Mackenzie fielding it.
Bringing it up to the brick mark, third way up the field. So impeccably marked out field, cones, the whole shebang. Tim Stevens, John Brill, big claps for that. And again, this defense really making life hard.
Great break by Mackenzie there to Tran. Tran looking to get to Sando. Goes to Foley instead. Foley wants it.
Marty poaching in the lane. Which is really what they have to sort of figure out here. Do they want to drag Marty out of that lane and have Brill coming back behind the disc?
And both Foley and Tran really just working hard to get those little unders.
The big hammer to the fat side. Rob Whiten, he's there.
A lovely shot by Benjamin Foley.
And that's not a same third throw.
No, look, I mean, he had it down that side.
It's all three thirds.
I was expecting the flick, but decided to do the Greg Schrader classic.
Yeah, no, that's really nice.
That's a pretty throw. But yeah, you can see, in particular, Foley and Tran have really upped their intensity at this point.
Sorry, I think that'll be potentially the difference in this Flatball Z team. Just runs hard for 80 minutes.
Yeah, and those two guys are super fit at the moment. And as much as you want to be grumpy at them for cutting off good options downfield, I suspect they'll have the legs to run it through for the rest of the game. So while it will be annoying and not super pretty ultimate, it'll be effective.
Hey, gritty ultimate still gets the wins.
Exactly. Ugly but effective ultimate is still effective.
Yeah. And surely, as your secondary role to this to this game as the Outbreak team coach and perpetual viewer of performance. You've got to be pretty happy with that sort of fitness level.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, we're trying to make sure that Foley and Wilson are playing together because they play very well together.
That they do.
And they have similar styles and thought patterns. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they go going into nationals. But at least tonight, they're definitely making their impact felt.
Certainly. And we've got Whiten with the pull. That's a...
Yeah, not traditionally a pull.
Yeah, not traditionally. I'm glad you picked up the confusion in my voice, but...
He's got a hold of that one. I mean, he hasn't got a lot of distance, but...
And that's a great pull chase down as well.
Yeah. Oh.
Defensive pressure.
Marty sneaks one through to Chow. Roden around the break to Warren White.
Got Johnny stuck on this far sideline.
Warren White throwing it to the big
end.
man space.
And that's going to fade the right way from what Wilson Tran doesn't want.
I mean, that was a good tussle, but Tyler Smith's always had the height and I think had the read as well on that.
Yeah, I think you can see, like, from Wilson's perspective, it's sort of, it does turn quite late, and you can see Wilson's sort of body up on the back there, I think he's trying to force Tallis into that underspace, or Smits into that underspace, but then it just turns, and Smits is like, yeah, all right, I'll take that little push, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, you saw Smits take 2 or 3 backpedal steps there before he went,
yeah.
I can
I'll
run
just
onto
step forward, that sounds good.
Whether that was by design or whether it was just fortuitous for him, hey.
Surely it was tactical design. I'd expect nothing less.
Expect nothing less.
From a veteran of the game.
That's some good sass.
Veteran of the game back for the ball.
So tied up at 9s, still on serve. With Flatball Z starting on offense at the far end at the start of the game. So, you know, at this stage, it's a pretty even game.
Yep, could just be you won the toss and you're going to win the game.
While I want to agree with you, there's been enough blocks from both teams that I feel like it's a little more than that. But yeah, it can come down to that.
It could come down to that.
I mean, you know, if guys like Foley and Wilson win, they're going to be insufferable. So we're going to have to give it to them that it's just because they won the toss.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You really just got to beat it down to the bare bones.
It's really about just keeping the ego
in check.
Keeping ego in check, exactly.
And, you know, I really struggle with that, so I appreciate that somebody's there looking out for us.
As 2 of the most modest people in SA Ultimate, we are the people to talk about
I would say the 2 most modest people.
Lovely offense starting off here by Flatball Z. Getting a bit stifled now. Foley comfortably just holding the disc. Moves to McKenzie.
Got a lot of those cuts coming down the same third.
Yeah, McKenzie to Stevens, to Davies, all in the same third. They really need to look at attacking the break and moving it around, and even then cramming it in that cram hole. Sanderson attacks the break, cheeky inside to Brill.
Veteran experience there. Knows you don't want to cram it in the cram hole because you're pretty much out of space already.
So he crammed it past the cram hole.
Crammed it out and around the cram hole.
It's a nice pickup by Sanderson just before throwing that, and then just took advantage of, it looked like Tonkin poaching off in the lane a little bit there, giving the separation that he could shoot through.
Yeah, definitely. It's quite a tight space that Sando went through to even get that throw, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. It is his bread and butter. I mean, he's been playing for about 30 years now, and he just loves the forehand. Loves sneaky forehands and bladey forehands. And so that was right in his wheelhouse.
It's true. Can't blame a legend for having his favourites.
Exactly.
As a legend walked past us as we speak.
It's good to be in his presence.
Got his veteran, cool, calm and collected face on. Nothing challenges him.
So a bit of chat on the line here by Flatball Z. Looks like Wilson's kind of commanding the troops a little bit. I feel like they're feeling this is the time to get the block. And with, you know, potentially...
Super League title on the line here.
Exactly, Super League title on the line. Not a lot of points left in the game.
Calling for a bit of sideline help, I think. Could we be seeing a different defensive formation, perhaps?
Yeah, maybe a look. That looks to be a Brick from Foley, but it might land in.
Oh, might land. It's
No,
just out.
Just out.
Hearing a call of time to set up, but I think we're still seeing. Oh,
No, there's bodies around the disc. Oh, they may have gone to man. Or it could be misdirection by Ben Foley here.
just having a point. You go there, sir. I'll go over here.
Bit of point and wonder.
Almost as effective as a point and throw.
Exactly. No, they've gone to man.
They're definitely at man. There's Foley yelling it out. I think there's been a bit of confusion, potentially an early poach.
Oh.
And luckily, they've, an uncharacteristic throwaway by Rhodes there. But also just, I don't know, just a bit of a drop by Roden. Whiten straight off the back.
Tran to Foley. Foley looking for someone on the open side. Stevens shut down by Chow.
Hammer to the break side. Why not?
Of course, goes to Whiten.
Just because you can, you should.
Yeah, it's the around hammer to Brill.
Got Wilson
Brill's
going deep. He's really free.
Brill looking for the inside to Stevens. Trapped on the, right up against the fourth sideline. Round to Foley. Foley with yards of space to move it to Whiten. Slowing down a bit here now.
It's gone high.
To Roden.
And Roden snatched it right up.
Just a wayward throw by Foley. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but
Was that a push pass we just saw from Thomas Roden?
it
Perhaps.
was a push pass.
Disgusting. Marty's going to the end zone.
It's not
This
coming,
could
though.
potentially be no good, but and potentially a missed throw from Hurdy there.
It looked like a miscue and a missed throw. Hurdy just going a bit prematurely there. And it looks like this could be the point that decides the game. Even if Zimmer get it, I think this might be the point that breaks the back.
Yeah, this is probably one of the longest points we've had, and we've got a tall Tim Stevens in the end zone. That's going to be hard for Keith Chow to stop, and he didn't.
It's a great read by Tim Stevens. Great shot by Foley, finding the height mismatch and putting it to Tim's advantage. Tim read that beautifully.
Once again, same third though, not unexpected.
Tim read that well, and it looked like Chow lost it for a bit because he runs under the disc pretty heavily, and Tim just clap catches it on his chest.
Yeah, too easy.
That's the break.
That is the break, and in this very gentle throwers breeze that has Flatball Z coming downwind to try and consolidate.
Yeah, a bit of texture in the air. It's, I mean, I don't want to count Zimmer out. I feel like that was the deciding point for this game. Just the intensity there. There was a bit of emotion from both teams. But you can't count Zimmer out. There's too much experience and too many cool, calm heads.
Definitely. I think they'll just need to sort of get back to those reconnecting throws, and then there'll be no worries.
I mean, personally, I'm a fan of just giving the disc to Roden and sticking Marty and Johnny in the end zone and playing a bit of 500.
Yeah, look, I would argue it's probably not a bad strategy against this Flatball Z team.
It's probably not great ultimate, but, you know.
Look, sometimes you just want to see a spectacle.
Give the
Crowd
punters a show.
would like a spectacle. I would like a spectacle.
You're enjoying that word.
It's a good one.
It is a good word.
Sometimes you just get a bit stuck on commentary, so you just repeat the same word over and over again. Speaking of repeating the same word over and over again, I thought I was going to call the brick, but I wasn't. Good get. Hammer up the line, and Marty's deep with no one on defense.
Smits didn't want to punt it. Marty was too open.
Scares you sometimes. We're back with Warren White. Very cool, calm and collected head. Dish off to Perrin. Back to Warren White. You got Smits on the dump. Got Smits coming up to the line. And there's a travel call.
Didn't see the call. Didn't see the travel. Oh, here we go. We're getting a replay. Yeah.
Did lift that back foot, yeah.
Looked like he pivoted comfortably off his right.
Disc will come back. Potentially a bit of frustration in the air now. No inside call.
This is a bit of a dangerous time here for Zimmer. You've got 2 or 3 guys close by with tight marks who are aware of the throw coming.
And you got tight dump defense on Warren White.
Rob Whiten, quite the speedster.
Definitely.
But
Kind of
something
appears when you least expect him.
that's it. Some of the newer guys comfortably keeping the disc alive there. Mitch Oh, puts it up. Johnny with the read. That was a pretty great read by Johnny. Pretty great save.
Spectacular Hail Mary. And to get the spectacle I wanted.
Yeah, exactly. That was all spectacle.
That's going to be a bit disappointing for Zimmer, but they should take away that that was a very high stall option that they lucked out on.
Yep, he was looking at his dump. Marty was moving up the line, but moving into a poach D. It was great D from Flatball Z, and Zimmer just getting lucky there.
Can see a bit of a reenactment of this Talis Smith's travel on the camera right now. Trying to figure out what he did wrong. We've got Warren White with the pull. Sort of seeing these breaks in between points getting a bit longer now.
People are getting tired. People are starting to get down to brass tacks around what we have to do to win, what needs to happen.
Yeah, want to take those extra few 5 to 25 seconds to get that extra bit of strat out to your team.
Suck a few extra breaths in.
Suck those extra breaths in. Just really calm yourself down. So there is, for those who don't know, a limit on how long you can take before you pull the disc, and I think we're probably past that, honestly.
I reckon we're almost past it twice.
Yep.
But, you know, we're not playing for sheep stations here, so everyone's kind of happy chilling out a bit.
It's true, and Warren White got readiness from Tran, and off we go. Oh, disgustingly blady pull. Maybe he'll be catching that. Wilson will look to stop it, and he's done it. Backed up by Brill. Sando with the disc.
Mitchell getting down there, proving you right.
Once again.
Foley shoots.
Shoots for
That's
Tran.
a
That's
lovely
out in
shot.
front.
And Foley and Tran just really getting this game done.
Preservation of greatness on the end zone line now. And there's a call. Travels the call.
That was a a lovely shot by Foley.
Yeah, really nice out in front.
And a bit of zip to a deep cutter as well. But put it in a position where only Tran was going to get to it.
I hear that's core work, though.
It is all core
It's
work.
all core work.
You were doing a bit of core work tonight, weren't you, Mick?
Yeah, it was disgusting. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone.
Unless they want to be a thrower.
Yeah, if you want to throw like that 8-minute Tabata, that'll get you there. You might cry a couple of times, but you only get out what you put in.
So shooter's got to shoot, shooter's got to crunch.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Although if you're looking for a six-pack, crunch is not the way to go.
I have heard that. What's your top exercise for a six-pack here, Mick?
Uh,
Other than loaded fries.
Royale fries.
Royale fries. We're back in. Mitchell just kind of clogging up space there. Not really providing Wilson with any useful options. Foley with the disc. Looking for Tran.
Tran also
With the
clogging this
lefty.
open lane.
And the 1-2.
Is he in? Not sure. Gonna have a bit of a debate, but that's the connection you see there between Foley and Tran there.
Yep, the lovely lefty give-go from Foley, getting it straight back from Tran up the line.
Still debating the in out.
It's a goal.
And it's a goal. I think my number one exercise for core is probably a plank, because that really gets your core burning. A proper plank, not this butt up in the air rubbish.
Tense your butt cheeks in, suck your belly button to your spine.
Suck your belly button to your spine. Tense the butt.
Tense the butt.
But yeah, no, I think that's probably, I mean, I'm not sure it's the best, but
It's your favourite.
it's probably my favourite. It's hard to say favourite of something you just don't want to do. Got to offset all the fries though.
Yeah, you got to offset the fries somewhere. I'll catch up with you eventually.
Go back, yeah. I hear you make some delicious foods.
I make
Yeah,
foods.
what's your favourite meal prep meal?
My go-to meal prep meal.
Oh yeah, you go to. That's a good one.
Oh
yeah.
man, we are
favourite.
struggling with the commentary talk here, but
It's because
my
these
go-to.
points, the gap between points, is so long.
I think my go-to is, we had it last week. It's like a slow cook chili.
Oh, yeah.
You can do it beef, veg, or chicken.
Really
they're
brings
all
the
good for
flavour
different-
out, I'd imagine.
It's so good. Start with like chili paste, cook it for 4 or 5 hours, serve it with a little guac, some
Yeah,
onion,
delicious.
some coriander, some chips,
That sounds
good
great.
sour cream, some cheese. Yeah,
All the fixins.
all the fixins. Yeah, all the accoutrements.
And Mazar on this far side, roads with the dump. Got Hurdy shooting deep, and that's a really nice fat side throw. Is he going to get there? It's quite floaty. Oh. There's a foul call on that.
That was a great looking D from Mitchell.
I can sort of understand that.
Yeah.
Like, you come in on the backside, there's always a bit of a risk there unless you stop, plant, and go up early. You're kind of going to run into someone. It's uncontested, I believe.
Yeah, it looked like the contact was straight into Hurdy's back there. That's probably fair.
So uncontested foul. Oh, big fan of the hand signals. Thank you, Hurdy. He'll tell him later. And just goes in. Right on the end zone line. See if we'll just isolate Johnny in the open lane. Oh!
Foley claiming he touched
Always
it.
claiming a touch.
For those playing at home, the stats here work that if a defender touches it, counts as a D, or the last defender touch it counts as a D.
The last person. I feel like it's been more common in Super Leagues past to see people unnecessarily laying out to get those 3 points.
Absolutely.
But I love it. I'm about it. Saw Sean Davis do it a couple of weeks ago.
And Foley there just celebrating a minor touch.
Take the wins where you get them.
Tran to Stevens, back to Foley, back to Tran.
Just one big triangle, that.
Just, yeah, one happy triangle, got a few yardage. Again, Tran just working this every second pass this offense.
He's really making Marty move. It means that Marty can't spend that time poaching in the open lane, which is probably what they're trying to stop by having him run him, by having Tran run him around.
I don't know if Marty's the best matchup on Tran. He's clever, but he just can't run with him.
Oh, Brill. Tim Stevens. Oh! What a huge layout, Tim Stevens there. That was not coming in at quite the optimum angle. I was really blading into the ground pretty fast.
That was a great pickup by Tim Stevens.
Definitely.
And
that was a spicy edge.
That was.
You can see that come all the way back in right now. That's a difficult grab to make.
And that was an unconventional shot choice from John Brill there. But hey, you know, as we've said, ugly and effective.
Certainly, and that's a big hype play. Like, that's kind of what you want, and that could be the change in momentum that we're looking for. Yep. Potentially got a timeout call here.
Yeah, looks like a timeout. Assume from Zimmer, just to try and recollect. They're 3 down. They really have to get this point to stay competitive. I think if they lose this point, it gives Flatball Z 4 shots in a row to convert.
Definitely. We'll have a bit of a drink and come back shortly.
Flatball! Hey! Come on! I want to sit just a little bit more. Yeah, I was like, give us a unconventional shot, but up to 1, 2, 3. Hey, John, you know how I was coming in deep? Your shot selection. I'll take it, skull. So then it's not pretty.
All right.
Yep.
Just breaking out of the timeout huddle there. Turns out time cap is about to go, I believe.
Yeah, I think 10 minutes. I think, what, 80-minute games?
80-minute game sounds about right.
Yeah, so 10 minutes. I just took my headphones off, eavesdrop my way into the Flatball Z huddle. Heard some very motivational words from Wilson Chan there. He says their defense has gotten better and better, but he really thinks they've got another level in them. And we could see that extra level in these last 2 points. And then also they just want to continue on with their lateral movement, which I think has kind of been a staple of this Flatball Z team throughout the entire season. So, you know what? Don't change what isn't broken.
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Too right. Let's see what this Zimmer team will come out of their timeout. Potentially some renewed energy, maybe a bit of a different strat. Who knows?
Still a fan of put the big boys in the end zone, huck it to air. But alas, I don't think we'll see that tonight.
I mean, they showed it worked with Rhodes, who is not the biggest of boys on Zimmer. But you never know.
It's a nice pull from Foley. Not the deepest pull, but lots of hang time.
And it's in the field. Oh, Marty's going off to the deep space. Smith's also there. Mazar coming back under.
Mazar's been working really hard. I know he's been working really hard in the gym and has lost 6 kilos in the last year. So I think working really hard to stay athletically competitive.
Yeah, with a figure like that.
Yeah, he wants to
Really?
be less of a girthy boy. But just before you saw him do a lovely undercut when Tran was marking him and burnt Tran quite well.
It's true.
But Chow with the disc, throws it around to Burns. That's it.
He's in. Devil lefty child with the assist.
So that's it. Zimmer keep their hopes alive for this game, but really need to come out with something here to
Get that block.
get that block. They need a few of them, but we'll start with one and see how we go.
Look, small goals.
Small goals.
Start with our small goals. And they will snowball. Ideally. Got Tasman Mitchell walking onto the field with a purpose.
Yeah, it's quite a strut he's got going on there.
definitely
You
got
can
a
see him coming on the camera
strut
now,
on.
and boy, is that a swagger.
That is a power move. Maybe a bit of intimidation there. Unfortunately, Flatball Z is still walking back to the line, not really facing him, but that's all right. They'll watch it back on the stream later. It's bloody terrifying, I'd say.
Quietly chuckling to yourself there, Mick.
I'm just listening to the bants of our unfortunately not mic'd cameraman Rex. And we've got somebody standing behind Keith.
Warren White.
Warren White, yeah. Sort of the next down in the pulling chain, I think, for this Zimmer team with Smiths up the top.
Next in the pecking order.
It's in the pecking order. Well, I never get pull duty, so it's good to see one receiver with them. Here we go, Warren White up with the pull. It's nice. It's floaty. It's going to be taken on the chest, but Zimmer are going to have time to get down there.
Solid penetration, good float. Got to be happy with that pull. Round the break to Foley. Foley looking deep. Got no one. To Whiten. Just moving laterally aside. Sando. Sando punts it to Tran. That's a lovely shot.
And that's another one with Chan coming off the back of the stack. So he's already quite deep. That's really quite a difficult throw to send out there. And I would say a bit of a tougher matchup here, like speeds the Tasman Mitchell.
Yeah, really just backing themselves in on their throwing strength and Tran speed. And it's paying off.
Well, with the old kick spike there. It's really got some ego there. You're going to have to slap that down on Thursday training, Sammy.
Oh, I'll give it a red hot go. I mean, I've got a low-key hype Wilson because, you know, he's my low-key hype man.
Oh, that's right. It's his favourite lady's here. She's a big motivator for him. He says he doesn't disagree. That wouldn't be. It would be good if he. It would be bad if he didn't.
Yeah, look, I'd say that, you know, having your partner of choice be nearby, not being a motivator, probably not a great option.
Your partner of choice.
Partner of choice.
Just in case you want different ones for different activities.
Look, I don't judge. Like, if you have multiple partners and that works for your lifestyle, go for it. You know, you can have a different motivator for every event.
Look, in my experience of Wilson Tran, he's definitely a one-woman guy.
I get that vibe.
Yeah.
He's a stand-up guy.
He's definitely stand-up. A great captain of this Flatball Z team.
He did very well. Selected well, coached, captained well, and played really well.
And we're game point here for Flatball Z if they get the turn, get the score. So he could be well in luck.
Yeah, he could be having a lazy don't make me come back on that point.
And Marty's going deep
Tompkins
straight off the
burnt
pool,
deep.
and that is not going to be stopped unless he's overthrown. He's definitely not going to be overthrown. That's a beautiful backhand.
Oh, and Warren White, beautiful backhand. Threw it to the height.
Yep. And you know what? You said it. Throw it to the big boys.
Throw it to the big boys. I've been saying it this whole game.
And by throw it to the big boys, we mean have one big boy in the handler space to throw it to the other big boy.
We had to have a throw to the first big boy to get him to throw it. But that was a lovely shot from Marty. You can just see there, it went to, lovely shot from Johnny, went to Marty's advantage. John Brill did well to get in the contest.
Definitely a good chase down.
But Marty, strong in the air, strong body position, and a great read.
Definitely. Now, here's the question. Are we going to see game point for Flatball Z again? Are we going to see a nice, cruisy, cool, calm and collected Flatball Z style offensive hold for the win? Or do you reckon Zimmer have just got that extra bit of boost in them to bring this game just that bit closer to universe point?
So I'm going to go with one of two predictions here. Who have we got on the line?
We've got Scott McKenzie, Rob Whiten, Aiden, Tran, Stevens, Foley, and Sando.
Oh, I reckon
bit of a mixed bag.
Bit of a mixed bag. My money is it's either going to be Foley and Wilson just 1-2ing it their way up the field.
Yep.
Or Sando's going to get it and punt it to Tim Stevens.
Yeah, right.
I think that's how they're going to try. Whether it comes off, whether someone's savvy to the 1-2 plays and just they rush it. They have had a few turns
Steps
this season
in the
from
lane.
just rushing it a bit,
Yeah.
trying to squeeze it a bit and like overthrowing or underthrowing. But tonight they've been on song, so see if they can do it for one more point.
Here, we'll see if your predictions come true. Big pull from Smits. That's really nice.
That
nice
is a good pull.
Nice and floaty.
Slowing down, going to set.
Got Mitch Burns really racing down on that pull.
Yeah, like I said, Mitch Burns really impressing this season. Foley with the disc to Stevens. Stevens back to Whiten. Just moving the disc really comfortably. There's not that... Oh. Two defenders on the way. They were savvy to the huck coming.
They definitely were savvy to the huck. Again, Tran off the back. Potentially a bit more of an unusual thrower coming from Whiten there, but... Oh, Whiten scorpioned himself into the ground there. Hope he's all right.
But just a miscommunication from Zimmer there.
Flatball Z, going to move it fast.
Yeah. Sando here. I can't see him throwing it away.
But he'll throw a hammer.
That's
and
it.
It's not away.
That's all she
but
wrote.
It's risky. That is all she wrote.
It was risky. Took a couple of double coverage, but that's it.
Yeah. I mean, look, why not?
Flatball Z taking away the season. Well deserved. They've been playing pretty dominantly since the start of the season. Have only got stronger and better. Great leadership by Wilson and Foley sort of being the 1-2 there. But their whole team really getting involved. And it's a great win. So credit to them. Yeah,
that's the end of Super League 2020. I think got a couple of people to give some mad props to, and that's firstly, I think John Brill and Tim Stevens. I reckon they turn up, even if they're playing in the late game, they turn up at 6 p.m. to set up the field to make sure it all looks pretty schmick.
And if they're playing the early game, they stay around till the end of the late game to bring everything home.
Yeah, to bring it home. And then obviously the one, the only, Rex Johnson behind the camera, unmiked, although sometimes I really think you should put a mic on. Spectacular.
There's some great
little
sass
extra
coming
comments
from there.
yeah,
Absolutely.
He runs all the camera work, all the replays, all the whole shebang, everything you're watching on your screens right now. That's all Rex Johnson. Even the great music.
And you know, for those of you listening at home or those of you watching a replay,
those of you watching in Brisbane,
those of you watching
just
in
for
Brisbane,
Sammy, really.
You know, if you see Rex Johnson or Mike Palmer around, the guys who've been running ULTI.TV in Australia for a while, they really do this out of love. So you know, feel free to toss a coin to your ULTI.TV. For sure. Or subscribe to the package. Absolutely. We'll see you again for Super League 2021. Thanks, Mick. Thanks, Sammy.
ULTI.TV.